Hello, 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 everybody. Okay, let's see how we're doing here. Hi, everyone. Oh my goodness, look at everybody already jumping on. I am in a new space, so hopefully it's really hollow sounding. I'm sorry, I tried to find a better location, but I am dog sitting. So the beautiful, this lighting again is showing my age. That's okay. That's okay. It's all beautiful. No doggy or no kitty cat has ever judged me for wrinkles. Nope. So this is here. Let me show you guys. Hi, everybody. I'll say hello in just a sec. There we go. Okay, so it's not that great. This is Ollie, and I'm dog sitting this week for Ollie, and he's a fun little puppy. So he may be here with us as we're doing this video. So welcome everybody. Let me say hello to everyone. First of all, hello Kathy, and welcome to the SoulPet community. And Miriam, oh, from Brazil. Buenos dias. I don't even know if that's the right language. I don't think it is. But thank you, Miriam, for joining us. It's a pleasure to have you here. Nunya, Sherry, Kim, Jody, Kelly, how you doing? Jess, look at all my friends here. Sharon, Donna, listen to my meditation of 4 years ago. Oh my gosh, Donna, that's when everything. If you think everything is like not quite professional now, back then, oh my gosh, I found there was someone who pointed out to me that one of the videos has gone really wonky. So I have to redo a couple of those videos, but I'm glad you found the meditation that you liked. And it's time for me to start posting more of those. So for those of you who are watching this on the replay, just a quick message real fast. You can always scroll ahead a minute or two because I give it a minute or two for everybody to jump on. And we kind of go through some housekeeping. So if you want to get right down to the nitty gritty, you just like scroll ahead a few minutes. And for those of you who are new to the channel, my name is Elaine. I'm an animal Reiki master, an animal chaplain, and a pet psychic, which all of these happened completely without planning. Animal Reiki was a plan. When I discovered Reiki was not a plan. But when I discovered animal Reiki, I knew that that's what I had to practice. And from that naturally became animal chaplain, which is providing end-of-life services, which we're going to talk about in a second. Services for for pets who are approaching end of life, supporting families through that process. And then pet psychic, which was completely unplanned. Helping animals at end of life led to me being able to connect with them on the other side, completely not in my scope of, I had no idea. But now that's something that we do regularly here and now with private readings. Okay, so saying hello again to everybody. Thomas, good to see you. Caroline, hello, hello. Oh, the Bridge of Love meditation. That's one of my favorite ones. But there are some updates that I need to do for all those meditations now that I meditate fairly regularly. And today's topic, part of it is going to be about meditation. Don't roll your eyes. That's what I put out with the message from our animal companions. Don't roll your eyes at the word meditation. I'm going to try to help you to a place where you can actually begin to meditate so that you can receive messages from your animal companion. Miriam wants to share a miraculous experience. Beloved 11-year-old cat Nicole transitioned a few months ago. They were reunited in her new incarnation. Oh, that is beautiful. Oh, Miriam, that is beautiful. It happens all the time. Our animal companions can come back again and again and again, and they can come back in different forms. Reincarnation is a topic for another day. I've done videos on it in the past, and I'm sure we will address it again in the future. But it is wonderful when we recognize them and the different ways that they can come back to us. Sometimes in different species, sometimes, there's different ways. And we'll talk about that in another video. Who is the pup with you? Missed the beginning. Oh, no worries, Kim. This is Ollie, and I am dog sitting for Ollie. It's one of the unintended consequences. When I began practicing with Reiki for animals and pets, suddenly I was starting to get asked. I was trusted as a person who can come stay in people's homes and watch their dogs. So I do it pretty regularly. Mostly dogs, not too often cats. Every once in a while, someone will ask me to watch a cat, but cats are so self-sufficient. It's usually dogs or farm sitting. That's my favorite. I've done some of these videos from the farm here in Colorado, where we had the alpaca and the goats and well, it was turkeys, but since Mary passed. But anyway, then I also farm sit down at the sanctuary in Florida, which is when I get to have the whole sanctuary to myself, all the horses, Leroy the mule, all the goats, all the chickens, oh my gosh, the baby goats. I have fed baby sheep and held baby goats. And yeah, when I get to farm sit like that, that's a dream come true for me. Okay, let's see. Who else do we have? We have Jody, Kim, Kathy, Sharon. All right, so we're all here and happy to see everybody. And for everybody who isn't commenting, it's not required that you comment. If you would just like to watch and participate quietly, totally fine. I completely appreciate that. I have mentioned before, I'm getting a little bit. Well, I get a lot overwhelmed with emails, but that's okay. So if you do reach out to me by email, it's not there. I can't always respond to them all, but know that if you do need, like, if you want to comment here, everybody here is so supportive that we appreciate the comments, and people are really, really supportive of each other. Even when I can't get to all the direct questions, there's somebody else who will jump in and answer your question, or point you in the right direction, or just say that they're behind you and supporting you. Feel our spirit guides at work in our favor when they bring our beloved pets back to us. And what about if your pet is the spirit guide and just chooses to keep coming back to you in physical form? Yeah, there's all kinds of good stuff going on with that. All right, so let's get down to business. We're 5 minutes in, and as people join, don't hesitate to say hello. But I try to, once we start the topic, I try not to watch the comments too often, even though I see them scrolling by. And I don't have a moderator or anything. At some point, as the channel grows and I learn more and more, you guys know this is still all so new to me. But as I learn more and more, there may come a time when I need a moderator, and we'll do that. But for now, it's just me, myself, and I. And myself and I can't always get to all the questions. So got 3 of those. Spirit guides, I'm guessing, is what you're talking about. Spirit guides. Hi, Jen. How you doing? Becky, good to see you. Okay, tonight we are going to talk. Let's see. First, I want to do some housekeeping. So quick housekeeping. I did the first SoulPet showcase. For those of you who are supporters of the channel, so you have a paid membership. For those of you who are members of the channel, you are welcome to have your pet highlighted. And I did Logan. So Logan was our first animal companion, and all you do is send me you put that it's for the SoulPet showcase, and you send me the photo that you'd like me to use, and any little write-up, any story you want to share, anything at all. And I highlight that for the rest of, for the whole community. It's not just private for the membership. So I spotlight your animal companion, and we talked about that it can be a companion who has crossed, or if you've got somebody beautiful living with you right now, like I'm going to do a little write-up for my gypsy so you guys can learn a little bit more about her. But I will highlight all of the pets that you would like me to, and there's no limit. So I think somebody asked me, but there's 3, and how do I pick? Well, so we'll do one at a time, and I'll be happy to do that. So that's the SoulPet showcase. If you want to become a member, I put a link in the beginning of the comments. I'm getting these tricks down. Put a link in the beginning of the comments. It's also in the description for the channel, and I'll make sure it's in the description for the video. Time is flying. I don't know if you guys feel this or not, but how did it get to be double-digit June already? It's June 10th today. Time is flying by, and I want to make sure that I make a commitment about the animal communication class. So what I'm going to do is, and I don't have a ton of space here, so I'm kind of a little cramped. Ali, thank you. I'm getting a little puppy bath over here. Okay, Ali, that's good, sweetheart. On Tuesday the 18th, I'm going to be doing, it'll be on Zoom. I'll put out all the information so that you guys can sign up. It's an introduction to animal communication. So I will kind of give you like the tip of the iceberg, just a little bit of an exploratory Zoom call. It will be about an hour long. We'll talk about animal communication. Then the following Tuesday, which is the 25th, I'll do an intro to animal Reiki. So anybody who's interested in Reiki for pets, we'll do an introduction for that. And then come after the 4th of July, I think that first Tuesday is the 9th, we'll do a class, Animal Reiki, Animal Communication formal class. So if you decide that you, from the introduction, that it's something you really want to learn more about, then there will be a formal class held on Tuesday evenings going forward, beginning July 9th. And you guys can reach out with any questions about that. Amino, Terry, how you doing? Good to see you. And let's see, who else do we have? Oh, Terry, I need to get back to you too. I know there's an email that I've missed there. And again, time is flying. I try to stay on top of it all. Keep running back to the comment just in case. Okay, I'll let you guys talk amongst yourselves as we begin to talk about our topic tonight. Okay, let's talk about tuning in to your pet, so that you can receive the messages that are meant for you. Your animal companion is your animal companion for a reason. We've talked about this many times, that your animal companion wants to be able to get in touch with you. And I do these mini readings, and I do the private readings. So I do SoulPet private readings, which are done via Zoom. And I also do the end of life care. That's why I didn't mean to mention that, peaceful crossings. For anyone who has animal companions approaching end of life, I help guide you through the process to make it something that is peaceful and calm, and a time that's not so filled with grief and anxiety that we are often faced with when we have to make really difficult decisions as our animals approach end of life. But that all leads me to stress, and the stress that's in our lives, and the stress that prevents us from receiving the messages from our animal companions. I'm going to turn on a fan here. It's just a little warm. The stress that prevents us from receiving messages because we've got this chatter going on in our mind all the time. Stress that impacts every area of our life. I know that every single person, and because it's me too, we have so many external stressors in our lives, everything from our daily commute to bills, to health, to family, relationships, education, if you're going to school, anything like that. All of these things bring us a level of stress. And then our animal companions, who are so precious to us, who are so dear to us, it brings us even more stress when they are approaching end of life. If we are with them during their transition, there's a whole level of stress there caused by the upheaval of our emotions. So how do we manage that stress so that we can maintain that relationship after they cross, so that we can still receive their messages, be in touch with them, continue a relationship with them after they leave their physical body, to offer messages to them, to receive messages to them? We use the word animal communication. It's way beyond that. It's just communication. Everything is communicating with everything else all the time. Everything. In the animal communication class, we teach this. We talk about bees. We talk about the ocean. We talk about the wind. There is communication happening all the time. And our communication coming from the other side, even though that's not the right term, if you guys want to help me come up with a better term for that, it's not the other side, because when they leave, they don't go somewhere else. Their energy shifts to a different place, to a different, I'm going to use some hairy-fairy words, but dimensional frequency. And when I say the words frequency, energy, vibration, I feel the eyes roll, and I know that people think it's hippy-dippy. Not everybody, and especially all the people on this channel. I know that you don't, but for those, I get a lot of comments like after these videos post. I understand that it sounds hippy-dippy, hairy-fairy, but there is science behind this. And quantum physics now is based in the fact that scientists recognize that there is an energetic system surrounding all the things that we think are empty space is actually full, and it's accessing that. And where do our souls go? Now, we've all, for those of us who have been able to make that connection with animals on the other side, or even people on the other side, we become believers because we receive this information that makes it so very clear that their energy is still available to us on the other side of life. That's the term that I've started to use now, on the other side of life. Hang on, grab a drink. Yeah, the collective. So Kim, as I look at the comments real quick, the collective, I'm not 100% sure what you're referring that to, but I call my animals the animal collective. Since the animals, all the animals that I've had the opportunity to work with now over the past couple years that have crossed to the other side, they all come together, and that's where I get my insight from. I call them my guides, and there's all kinds of, again, these terms that come with so much baggage, channeling the guides, channeling the collective. But the fact of the matter is that when I go into a meditation and receive information that I didn't know a minute ago, but now I know it, I say that I received that from the animal collective. They've all come together in one beautiful soul, one beautiful spirit that shares with me information. And why do they share it? And why I think you can receive this information too is because they're helping us awaken. They're helping us evolve. There is a spiritual evolution. And I think our animals know that we trust them. We trust them more than other humans. We don't necessarily we trust our animals more than we trust our humans. They had unconditional love for us then. They still do. And we trust the messages that we receive from them. Okay, so let's talk a little bit more about this. Ollie, I love you, sweetheart. Yes, I do. We're going to hope that Ollie can make it through the hour that we're going to be on this call and not have to go outside. So I want you to think about this. Stressed out humans. Stressed out humans. How do we get our mind to turn off? We have all this chatter that goes on in our minds all the time, these things that we're always thinking about. Telling our mind not to think, though, is like telling your heart not to beat. Your mind, your brain is designed to think. Its purpose is to be the master control system for your whole body, but it's also to process thought. And telling your mind, telling your brain not to think is like telling your heart not to beat. The goal, however, is to kind of alleviate that stress and reduce that stress so that we can make connections with the other side, will be to manage our thoughts. I sometimes use the word control, but it's more like be in charge of our thought processes. Instead of letting our thoughts run us, we run our thoughts. And I'm going to give you some tips for how I think you can do that tonight. But think about this. When I used to teach a class in communication, a business communication class. And in that business communication class, we taught that gut instinct and intuition were the last things that you went to when handling certain situations. That you would do X, Y, Z, pros and cons, do all your decision-making tools, decision-making tree, all that kind of stuff. You do that first, and only then do you turn to your intuition and your gut instinct. Now I want to flip that on its head. I believe that we all have incredible intuition if we learn how to listen to it and learn how to really tap into our intuition. So I'm going to be sharing some of that with you this evening as well. For example, what led you to this channel? More than that, what led me to create this channel? I had an intuitive, like an idea that popped into my mind. We use that phrase a lot. This idea popped into my mind, and I thought, if I don't do it, then somebody else will. And I want to do this. Like it's as if the universe wanted this to be birthed, this type of group. And there's groups like this now all over YouTube with different topics. And this one just happens to be about our animal companions that have crossed to the other side. So my intuition, going with your intuition, learning how to access your intuition and learning how to develop and strengthen your intuition. And that'll all come through meditation, which don't roll your eyes at the word meditation. I'm going to talk about that a little bit more in a minute. So let's see, what do I want to talk about? Frequency, the frequency of stress. As I scribble my notes, when I do automatic writing, again, for those of you new to the channel, when I do a meditation prior to this video, I go into a quiet space and I do something called automatic or channeled writing. I ask for insight and I begin to write everything, and sometimes I can't read my own writing. So I want to talk about the frequency of stress. Frequency, energy, vibration, the real things. They are not the hippy dippy stuff. Even though back in when New Age movement, when New Age was a thing, when everybody called this kind of thing New Age, now it's becoming more and more mainstream. Or if you use words like energy, like tap into your energy, raise your vibration, balance your frequencies, open your chakras, all that kind of stuff. Now we have a sense that there's some scientific validation to this, that when we are in a state of stress, and this is medical stuff, when we're in a state of stress, our body is out of alignment. And whether you call it energy centers, chakras, or just your body out of alignment, our body becomes out of alignment and it results in disease and all kinds of issues. Most illness and injury now are stress related. And I don't have the facts and figures to back that up, but I will let you do the research for that. So we now understand that having balance and being able to balance our emotions, balance our energy, keep ourselves healthy and strong, we need to reduce the stress. Let's see. Oh, I want to share some examples. So, for example, your microwave, think about your microwave oven. It runs at a certain frequency. I'm not like 100% sure what it is. I'm going to pick a number out of the air. Like, okay, so let's just say let's like 250 gigahertz. And the frequency and the vibration and the energy of the microwave oven result in heat. So different frequencies result in different things. There's color frequencies. So think of all the spectrum of colors. When you see a rainbow, that's a vibration and a frequency. Cell phones are all about frequency. Televisions, computers, everything is about vibration and frequency. And all of those frequencies are traveling all the time through the empty space. We cannot see, you can't look out your window and see Channel 10 broadcasting the news up there in the sky, and it's going to come to your television. And nor do you look at your television and know that in the box, hiding behind the screen, is the man reading the news. It doesn't work that way. It's all of these frequencies and vibrations traveling through the air, and they're very focused. And when you turn on the channel, you're focusing in on that particular station or that particular frequency. It's the same thing with our animals. So when we can learn to let go of the stress, reduce the stress, keep ourselves in balance, then we're able to tap into their frequency. And there's two ways. So people ask me, well, how do you know? How do you know what their channel is? I'm going to show you in just a minute how you know what their channel is. And then what was the other question? One of them just flew out of my mind when I said I'm going to show you how to tap into your pet's channel. But let's talk about meditation. Meditation. I've said it. I've said it myself. I've said to myself, meditation. 10 years ago, I never meditated, and I thought meditation was done by either hippies, right? Hippies with bare feet and long hair and I don't know what I'm picturing hippie clothes in a commune sitting around. That's what and they meditate. Or I pictured meditation as gurus. So somebody in the Himalayan mountains, sitting in a cave on a rock, levitating. I pictured meditation as everything that it really it is that, but in this contemporary day and age, meditation, I've learned, is so much more. Meditation is getting in the zone. And there are people who would say that meditation is meditation. You sit in a quiet space and you close your eyes and you send yourself to this beautiful zone of bliss where you tap into all the universal energy and you tap into the one mind and all this information comes to you. It does work that way, but it doesn't start that way. When I first began to meditate, I was a hot mess because I wanted to meditate. I thought I needed to. I was a control freak. I had to be in charge of everything. I was totally stressed out. And I figured that meditation might be a good way for me to begin to let go of some of that stress. I couldn't turn off my mind. Every time I would close my eyes and say, okay, I'm going to quiet my mind, it was like my mind went, ha ha, we're not getting quiet. We are going to bring up everything that's going on in your life. As soon as you close your eyes, I would get everything. I would get everything that I didn't want to think about is what came through. And if I said, okay, I'm not going to think about that, what's the first thing I thought about? Was that thing, whatever that particular topic was. I tried listening to music. I tried listening to guided meditation. I tried everything and I said, I just can't do it. I can't do it. I'm not a meditator. I guess this is not for me. And then it got to the point where I thought, I don't have time for this. I don't have time to sit down every single morning before I go to work and try to meditate. And then I realized, and I heard this saying, and it really rang true for me. If you say to yourself, I don't have time to meditate, then you need to meditate twice as long. Because once I did start to get the hang of it, the change was dramatic. And it just takes a little bit of practice. You have had all of these years. When I think about it, I didn't start meditating till I was like 52. I know that it was the summer of my 52nd birthday because I wrote a poem about it. I didn't start meditating till I was like 52. And when I began that process, when I thought I couldn't do it, I realized I'd spent the first 52 years of my life not meditating. I had 52 years of a whole different habit. And it's just like if you were trying to quit smoking or take up some other musical instrument. I start playing the violin at the age of 52. It takes a little bit of work and it takes a little bit of practice, and you be easy on yourself. And you have some good days and you have some days that aren't so good. I even have that now. I wake up some days and I'm like, I try to meditate. I'm like, my mind's already zooming a mile a minute. And it's okay. I'm just graceful with myself and say, all right, so right now may not be the moment, but in a couple hours, we're going to sit down again and we're just going to be quiet. And sometimes it helps if all I have is a cup of coffee and my dog, and I can sit there quietly with my hand on my dog, the smell of beautiful coffee coming through to me, and then I can get into the place where I can meditate. All right, I'm going to tell you more about meditation in a second once I look at the comments, just to make sure that you. Oh, yeah, Nunya, you've said this before, that you can just blank your mind, which is a skill. That's a total skill. I joke that there's a difference between the genders when it comes to that. There's a comedian who does a little piece on that a guy can go into their empty box, like there's an empty box place, and not a thought goes through. And he gives the example of fishing, which is a form of meditation, but a guy casting the rod, reeling it back in, the sun is shining, the water's babbling, casting the rod, reeling it back in, and not a thought goes through his mind. Little does he know he's meditating. It's a way of meditation. It's a way to quiet your mind. So Nunya, you've got something up on us if you can instantly quiet your mind. Terry, needed you in this channel this very minute. Oh, thank you. I do believe in divine timing as well, Terry. I completely believe in divine timing and to go with it, because I could just have, there's been times when I've started and stopped and started and stopped, and I'm just committed to continuing on these live streams, and I want to do more. Like, I really want this YouTube channel to be a thing, not just live streams. I want to be able to offer you guys videos. I want to do them during the week. But figuring out how to manage my time, we're getting there. But thank you, Terry. I appreciate that. Jess, meditation helped you quit smoking. Yay. And helped with your anxiety. Oh my gosh. If we could all just be taught to meditate as small children, we could do away with all the silly pharmaceuticals that we use for our anxieties and all these kinds of things, because it can be a total game changer. Kim says, I've been trying to meditate for the last couple of months. It's so hard. Yeah, I promise you can get there. You can, I don't, when people say, oh, I lost 100 pounds, if I can do it, you can too. Same thing with meditating. If I can meditate, anybody can meditate. But when it comes down to our own personal thing, it's much easier said than done, but it's a beautiful place to get to if you can. And here's the thing, animals are natural meditators. And the way that I really learned to meditate was when I learned animal Reiki and realized that animals are natural meditators. And if we just watch animals, we can learn how to meditate. The cat who lies on the back of the sofa with the sun coming through the window on them is in a state of meditation. The horse grazing in the pasture with their head hanging low, just naturally grazing, that munching motion is actually a form of meditation for horses. Do you know that dogs meditate every time you take them outside and allow them to smell? That natural sniffing. So they have such receptors of scent all throughout, not just their nose. If you've ever noticed their nose is not attached here, it's because they smell on the inhale and the exhale, and being able to smell everything. Try, if you possibly can. Sometimes we're on a schedule and we're on an agenda, or we take our dogs outside to potty, and that's why they're outside. But if you take a moment and just allow your dog to naturally sniff everything that he or she wants to sniff, it's a form of meditation. It really, really quiets their mind and it reduces their stress levels. So if we can turn to our animals to help us to meditate, it's how I learned to meditate. When I sat down, believe it or not, I tell the story in my Reiki class, and I won't bore you guys with the whole story, but the first animal I ever meditated with was an alligator. And it was when I went to the Reiki class and we were assigned an animal to meditate with, and I was assigned an alligator. And I was like, seriously, an alligator? What? I wanted like a horse. I wanted an animal I could touch, or at least an animal that was exotic, like a tiger or something. But no, I sat with an alligator, and it was one of the most intense meditations I ever had, and it was beautiful. So if you can find a way to sit down with your animal as you close your eyes to quiet your mind and ask them to help you, they'll help you meditate. Okay, quick. Elaine, you should do a live 20-minute meditation. I follow a few people who do that. A 20, I'm not 100, I don't know if the whole thought came out there, but I would do a live meditation. I used to be afraid of that, but then I used to be afraid of a lot of things, and now most things I'm not afraid of anymore at all. Like I've just like lost all fear for that kind of thing. Smell the fresh grass and the hay. Oh yeah, it's that motion for horses is meditation, and we can talk about horses a whole nother time because they are magical healers all on their own. Did a meditation at bedtime. Met him at the door. Could not believe he was on the other side. Okay. Again, I'm not 100% sure about that story, but I think I know what you're saying, that you did a meditation and visualized doggy on the other side of the door, and there he was, 100%. And it makes you feel so good when you can get to that level of meditation. Now I don't even need to meditate anymore to get in touch with Lucy, Jack, and Winston, and Jake. I can just think of them and they pop into my mind. I don't need to, they instantly, not just signs, but like downloads of information. And it comes from trying to stay in a state of meditation throughout the day. That would be the ultimate goal. The ultimate goal would be not to have to sit down and practice meditation, but to just live your life. That's the whole basis of Reiki, essentially, is to learn how to live your life in a state of meditation so that stressors don't bother you anymore. Not quite there yet, but working on it. Okay. Meditation. Meditation can be anything that helps you to quiet your mind, not to turn your mind off. If you can't, you can't. Totally fine. It's not so much to quiet your mind as it is to reclaim your mind, as it is for you to control your thoughts as opposed to your thoughts controlling you. And when you can get into the zone, if you guys have ever been in the zone for anything, if you're a runner, if you are an artist, if you play the piano, if you dance, if you enjoy cleaning house, people look at me like, cleaning house? If you are one of those people who takes joy in organizing things, it gets you into the zone where all that chatter going on in the back of your mind does not exist. I would encourage you to practice anything that helps you to get into the zone. If it's a walk in nature, then it's out walking with the trees. If it's a walk on the beach, whatever. If you go to the gym, if going to the gym helps you to get into a zone where all that chatter quiets down, you are practicing a form of meditation. And if you can do it consciously, then what you do is ask to receive messages or signs. Sometimes you may not recognize right away. So let's just say you're doing something. If you're going into a formal meditation where you're going to sit down in a chair in a quiet room, darkened room, perhaps lighting a candle. Candle is a great thing because it helps your mind focus. Breathing and a candle, wonderful ways to help you get into the zone because your brain focuses on the flame. If anybody has ever watched a flame, I teach this in the Reiki class too, and in the communication class and in the psychic class. If you can watch a flame will mesmerize your mind and help you to get to that place where you don't have all that external chatter. So being in the dark, watching a flame, if you're doing a formal meditation, just breathing, focusing on your breath. Breath work, there's so many different videos out there about breath work. And I'll tell you that all you really need to do is just focus on your own breath. It's your breath, breathing in and breathing out. The process, when you focus on a process of breathing in the air through your nose, I pull it down into my core, I release it back out. 1, 2, 3. I like to do things 3, 6, 9. There's magic in the numbers 3, 6, 9. But just focus on your breath And that also quiets down that chatter, that drunken monkey, I think is a Buddhist phrase for it. The drunken monkey who's always going crazy back there. It quiets that mind down so that you can receive messages. When you realize that you're in the zone, even I don't care where you are, except if you're driving. If you're somewhere where you can actually have a pen and paper, let's say you're at the gym, you're working out, you're having a great workout, and all of a sudden you realize you are in the zone. Ask your question, or ask to make a connection, or ask for the sign, and then be open to receive it. Same thing if you are jogging, if you are, I'm trying to think of all the other of ways of meditating. Coloring is a beautiful way to meditate. You bring out that book, and you bring out your colored pencils, and you begin focusing on pulling all the colors together, and where you want this color and where you want that color. Your mind is 100% focused on that piece of work that you're doing. And when you do that, recognize it and say, oh, this is wonderful. May I please receive a message? What message do you have for me? Take your colored pencil and begin to just write what comes into your mind. You guys know I've done it all. I've already done a session on automatic writing, and I'll do more if you want me to. Just begin to write. I use a plain old notebook, a big pen, but these are my connections to the energetic field, to this thing, this air that floats all around us that is not empty space. I breathe, I focus, I set the intention. That's probably a good step too, to set the intention that I'm going to be able to receive a message from my animal companion or from the animal collective. I set the intention. I trust. I trust my animals now. I trust them implicitly. I trust them to deliver to me whatever needs to be said, whatever message needs to be heard. I trust them to give it to me. I take my magic pen and I begin to write down the thoughts. And if I scrawl, who cares? Who cares if I scribble? Doesn't matter. I scribble, I write words, I write phrases, I smell things, I look for things. Whatever happens to come into my mind, I trust that it's not random. It's not random. Thoughts don't come from nowhere. Your brain doesn't like cook up thoughts. You receive. Your brain is a receiver of the frequency, the vibration, and the energy. And it translates that information into something you can understand. And it makes real, valid connections. So who was telling? Might have been Jody. I don't remember. I'm looking at everybody who's on here. A feather out of nowhere. You're in the middle of a room, and all of a sudden a feather comes floating down. Where did that feather come from? You're co-creating it. You are connected with universal energy. You are connected with your animal companion. You're connected with that energetic field that surrounds all things. It flows to, through, around you. You are part of it. You have a physical body, like it makes a sound. You have a body. Your voice makes a voice. You can touch, you can feel, everything. But when you are all connected, you're receiving information that you can interpret. Your brain does its job. It interprets that information, gives it to you, write it down and trust it. That's how you receive information from your animal companions. You quiet the stress in whatever way possible. That should be your number one goal, is to quiet your stress. Quiet that stress, and then watch how the stressors just kind of magically start to disappear. Quiet your stress, set the intention, trust that it's going to happen, and receive the information. And if your mind happens to go down a rabbit hole, just bring it on back. I call this the velvet bag technique. Some of you guys have been on a meditation with me where I've done the velvet bag technique. I picture in my mind a beautiful Santa bag, like a giant bag that Santa would carry. I picture this bag, it opens up, and I let all the thoughts flow. Whatever's going on. My car needs brakes. I have this bill to pay. I have this going on with my kids. I got whatever it might be. I throw it all in the bag. I imagine all these thoughts popping right into the bag. Then I pull the drawstring closed on the bag. This is all visual in my mind. And I set the bag to the side, and I'm like, you sit over there for the next 10 minutes. This is all about me and Jack. And I don't need you right now. And I pick up my pen and paper and start to write a message from Jack. And then when I'm done receiving everything that I think I need to receive, If I want to take the bag back, I mentally take it back. But a lot of times I like kick the bag to the curb and I don't care about it even anymore. It's irrelevant to me because of the information that I've received from my animal companion. Okay, let's see what comments we got. Kim, cannot wait for that to happen. Okay, so I'm not 100% sure. You guys can re-comment if I miss something. This gives me the voice to speak at a town hall meeting. Oh, 15 acres land. There's so much wildlife living on it. For glamping and zip lining. Oh, and you spoke up. Good for you, Jen. Good for you. Speak up on behalf of the animals. We are the voice of the animals. And from the other side, they're our voice. But let's see what else. I can definitely relate to bringing up anxiety. Okay, I'm gonna let you guys talk amongst yourselves. Okay, so that's fine. I just want to make sure that I'm not missing anything. And if you need to get my attention in the comments, you can always write, Elaine, read this. Okay, what else do I want to talk about before I do the reading? We're going to do a reading tonight for Cheesy. Cheesy's a little kitten, and a most unique reading for Cheesy. So we'll get to that in just a minute. So how do you know how to get on the same frequency? This is the whole theory behind the law of attraction. And this is just really all starting to come to me now because I've been studying this for years. Say the past 7-10 years, I've really been into I've gone deep down the rabbit hole, as some of you know that have joined me on some other calls. I've gone deep down the rabbit hole of everything, whether it's manifestation, law of attraction, channeling, Abraham Hicks, pulling all your things from the vortex. I've studied all of it, and there's always something new, whether it's numerology or crystals, everything, angel cards. In fact, I have to remember, I wanted to go get an angel card. I will do that. I'll step away for a second. I've been studying it all. I just can't get enough. I feel like a sponge for all of this. I can't get enough of it. And where was I going with all that? How do you know your pet's frequency? When people talk about things like the law of attraction, manifestation, they say what you need to do is align your frequency. When your frequency matches the frequency of money, then it will come into your life. When your frequency matches the frequency of your true love, that's when they will appear in your life. Well, will somebody please tell me how the heck I'm supposed to know what that frequency is? Do I hum at a certain frequency? Do I, what do I have to do? A dance? Do I have to, I didn't get it no matter what. I didn't get it. And now I understand because I've been also learning more about heart-brain coherence. In the system of Reiki, we talk about 3 energy centers. It's a little bit different than the Hindu tradition of all the chakras, but it's about aligning your energy centers and allowing your heart, really, it's your gut and your heart and your brain, getting them all to come together in one place so that your heart is not, and this often happens when we're experiencing grief, I'm just going to use this as a visual. Your heart is like all over the place. Your brain is thinking different thoughts. And so you're drinking a lot of wine or eating chocolate so that you can like feel good again. And that just messes up your gut. So what you want to do is just relax and get all of those into alignment. That's what meditation does. Meditation gets everything back into alignment. And then I focus on my heart. My heart is the thing. Your heart is the tool that connects your frequency. And how do you know what your animal's frequency is? I've often talked about that when your animal is in heaven, when your animal goes to the rainbow bridge, they go into a place of pure positive love. We're stuck down here on the dense earth. And how do we get them to meet? With your heart. Love is the answer, not trite. I don't mean that to be, a Hallmark greeting card. It is the key. Now, here's the thing. Your animal companion's love for you has always been at your frequency. You don't have to do anything special. You don't have to stand on one foot and hold your hands in prayer position and hope that you're matching their frequency. Your frequency and your animal's frequency have always been connected. I recently did a little video. It barely got any views, which is fine because the people who need to see it, see it. It was called the Japa meditation, and it doesn't matter what word you use. I don't care what you use. I use the word ah. And I went like this. That's all you have. Now, my when I did that, I focused on creating a vibration that started in my core. So I was like, if you've ever taken any kind of public speaking classes or singing lessons or anything, they tell you that you have to you want to speak from your diaphragm. You want to sing from your diaphragm. So I imagine when I say the word and you can say om, or you can say anything. There's an N meditation. The word itself doesn't matter. I use the word because it's the easiest word. No lips have to move, no tongue has to move. You just go And when you say in your own tone, I've got a very deep voice. So when I do it, I just do this. And I say it until I feel everything in my body vibrating. Like I can feel that vibration coming up from my core, through my heart, out my mouth. I can feel it in my head. I can feel it in my shoulders. I can feel it in my hands. Do the same thing. Pick the word om if you want to. Om, there's other ones. There are Buddhist chants. There are Zen chants. There are people who really like some different chants. The words don't matter. Pick the thing that works for you. When I teach level 2 Reiki, we teach a couple different chants. Pick the ones that work for you because it's your voice, your heart, your vibration. Nobody else ever, past, present, future, there's not another soul on the whole planet that vibrates the way you do. And your animal companion has always matched it. They don't have to do anything. They don't have to do anything at all. They know your vibration. The minute you start to do that, they can tune in. So if you want a quick, easy way to meditate and align your vibration at the same time, do a chant. I don't do it in your car. Do it in a closet. Do it. I'll do it anywhere now. I don't care. I chanted at the DMV. It doesn't matter. Do that chant. And then immediately, when you feel that vibration, you feel that connection, your pet will do the rest. Your animal companion will do the rest. When you feel that vibration, pick up your pen, pick up your paper, pick up your cell phone, use your keyboard. I don't care the method. Ask, what is it I need to know? Or you can be more specific if you want. I need help. Please help me with daddy. Please help me with XYZ. Doesn't matter. Please help me with this. Please help me with that. Or just ask, what is it I need to know? And why? Because they want to help us have a better physical life here on earth. They came into the physical to understand what we go through in the physical. They've gone back to the non-physical side of life, and they are prepared to help us have a better life here in our physical existence. And that's the way you do it. Okay, questions. Brandy, how you doing? All right, good to see you. Brandy, I think of you all the time. Brandy, you're beardy, right? I hope so. So I have so many people now, but we missed you too. Remind me, please, if you are Beardy's mama. I'm pretty sure that that's the case, because Beardy will never, ever, ever leave my heart. All you guys, all of your animal companions. Destiny. Loco. Okay, Loco. Got it. Oh, Destiny Loco. Yes. Okay, now I remember. And who is Beardy's mama? I'm gonna have to go back and find that out. Beardy is the bearded dragon that is one of the first animals that came through the clearest for me. But I digress. That tickles your chest cavity. That's the feeling that you want. When it tickles, that's a vibration. That tickly feeling is actually a vibration. But when you get there, just do your automatic writing or whatever kind of message you want to receive. That's the way you're going to receive it. Okay, I want to do the reading here for Cheesy. And I didn't see Cheesy. I let him know that tonight was going to be the night, but in my pain, I've learned to love so much more. And we can transmute that pain we can transmute that pain. Love is the actual answer that for everything. I get the pain. Oh, believe me. I mean, Winston is the one who caused me, who ended up me. I caused my. I mean, the pain is something that I allowed my heart to feel, and it was when Winston crossed. But I understand the pain. Um, Transmuting it into gratitude and love, it shifts everything. It shifts everything because all of a sudden I realized that I have nothing to fear. Um, I haven't lost any of my animals. They simply transitioned to a different existence that I don't have physical access to at the moment, but I have spiritual, energetic access. Um, and I know that they're always with me. And I've lost all fear of death because of it. But okay, let's talk about cheesy. And I'll see if there's any other questions. I don't see any questions coming up. Thought I might have been Beardy because we called my peekapoo Beardy, but it was somebody else. Okay, yeah. Isn't that funny though that you called him Beardy, and that I look for all of those synchronicities. I don't think of anything as coincidence anymore. I think of it all as synchronicities. And we were talking recently in a different group about what if all dogs are really just one dog? What if there's one beautiful, amazing, godlike creature that is a dog and sends little bits of him and herself out to us, to help just be such amazing parts of our life. But anyway, um, have you ever focused on an animal and had a human come through with a message? Well, I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. I haven't had too many humans come through, but recently I've had a lot of requests for uh, to do readings for humans, and so I've started to practice a little bit with that, and I've had some success. And it's not really success. Probably isn't the best word, but I don't trust myself as much as I do for humans as I do with animals. But I'm working on that, and I'm going to explain to you why I'm working on that in just a minute. So what I with Cheesy is a little orange kitten, and this all ties in together. I have had humans come through, like my dad. I know that my dad comes through. Um, I have also received messages from. I guess the only thing I would call it is a spirit guide, and his name is Christopher, and he came through to me showing me that he was with all my dogs, the same as my father. So there's a lot of overlap. There is not. The sense of time and physicality and distance on the other side of life is completely different, and I have no way to explain it. So that long answer to a short question. I occasionally get messages from human companions. There's nothing wrong with that. So if you are getting a message from a human, you set down to get a message from your animal companion, and a message comes through from a relative on the other side of life, go with it. I would absolutely go with it. Um, they're recognizing that you have created a space. You have opened the receptive space to receive messages from the other side of life. It's all the one mind. It's all the universal mind. So yes, you can receive messages that way. Yep. And dog spelled backward is God. Yeah, I think about that all the time. Just happens to be that in the English language, though. I don't know that it's that in other languages, but in our language, that is the case. You did, and it freaked you out. No, Sherry, you know what? There's no needs, when in the psychic class that I haven't taught in a while, maybe it's time for that to come through again. It's okay to get. At first, it might catch you off guard when you receive a message from another being. There are people who say that they've received messages from extraterrestrial beings, interdimensional beings, angels. There are some. Lorna, what is her name? Lorna, can't think of it. Kyle Gray is another one that regularly receive messages from angels. It can take any form that you want. The universe is the universe. God is God, and can take any form whatsoever that we are open to be receptive to. So, but our receptivity might be more sensitive to one than another. I think that's why I'm more drawn to animal communication, animal Reiki, connecting with animals on the other side of life, for whatever reason. And I just don't question it anymore. I don't question it for whatever reason. Animals and I have this connection, and I love it. I love being able to connect to animals. All right, let's get to cheesy. Okay, Cheesy. This is for Hideous Sales, who I don't see on the call this evening. One more question. My wife keeps receiving messages from our boy, but I don't like that she does. I dare say that I do more than reach out. I meditate about him. I don't. Oh, you don't receive it like she does. Okay, Jesse. You can really do the same things. And sometimes sometimes when we let go of the need to make the connection is when the connection happens. Maybe I should even start offering a mediumship course. And I still train in this, guys. This is where I'm going with Cheesy too. You can let go, or you can ask him to come into a dream, or you could just like start to write one day, maybe write a note. It's different for everybody. It's different for everybody how we receive messages. Some people receive downloads. Some people receive signs. It may start with a sign, or it can start with a written message, but we can talk more about that too, because I don't want to digress. And you can go back and watch some of the other videos that I talked about receiving messages for automatic writing. Okay. Cheesy. Cheesy is a kitten, an orange kitten. And I'll tell you why this comes up, because this was a very unusual reading for Cheesy. I almost got, Cheesy's human wrote that he's a kitten and gave me a picture of Cheesy. He looked a little bit older than a kitten, so I wasn't 100% sure about the kitten part. But Cheesy was very reserved, a very reserved reading. Every time I would ask a question, and this is interesting about cats. There are some cats, one or two of my cat clients have been incredibly talkative and will sometimes take over. Like I call them conversations, but I have a couple of cats who are very pushy. I don't know what else the word is. Cheesy was very reserved. And I'll explain a little bit more about this, why I think this is. Cheesy's an orange tabby, crossed on February 1st of this year. And I got a couple of things. I always ask for a little piece of evidence to help me demonstrate for the person who I'm working with that it's your animal companion. And I just didn't get a lot. I got a sense of watching TV, which some cats do. And it's not that they watch a show, they just watch the movement on the television. I got a sense of watching TV. I got a sense of annoyance from a ceiling fan. So I always look around me as I'm doing these readings. I not only do automatic writing and ask for downloads of information, I use all of my senses because I know that our animal companions can access our senses. We can see things and allow them to see through our eyes and our senses, still experience some of the physical world. And that's part of my process is that I will observe and feel and think about the things that are around me. And I got a sense of annoyance at a ceiling fan. Like it was either the noise of the ceiling fan or the air constantly blowing down on Cheesy that annoyed him. That's the best way to put it, was a sense of annoyance. This was a funny thing. On behalf of all cats, thank you for your service. I got the sense that cats in general, and Cheesy in particular, it's like we are theirs, not the other way around. That they come to us and we are their servants, so to speak. So they thank us for the food, the fresh water, taking care of them, their litter box, all the things that they need, so that they can, because cats they're so much more evolved than us. And I just got this sense that he was saying, we're grateful for all you do for us, but know that we've got this. Then I almost got this sense that Cheesy was almost ethereal. Like I got a sense that Cheesy, this is really going to sound out there. For me, it sounds out there. I got a sense that Cheesy was actually like a ghost, like was actually a spirit, that he wasn't with you for very long. And that other people might not have seen Cheesy the way that you did. I know that's not the normal, by far, not the normal message I received, but I just got a sense that he was a being or a spirit. He was very spiritual, with you for just a short time to help you through something. There was something specific that Cheesy came into existence for. But cheesy was there just for you. And that's what so this ethereal, that's the word that came through. An ethereal being, a spiritual being is what cheesy was. I couldn't get a sense of cheesy's personality. Like I often will get a sense of humor or a sense of someone who's very assertive or someone who's very prissy or someone who's quiet. I get all kinds of different personality senses. I did not get much about cheesy. A very free spirit. I wrote that down too. A very free spirit, very intellectual, and that word ethereal kept coming up again and again. Super intelligence, beyond just the norm. A very wise cat. Also efficient. That the word efficient came up because cheesy knew what needed to be done, got you to the place that needed to be done, and then that's why he left, because he had completed his work. Like his work here was done, and that was what he needed. Quiet. I got the word quiet. Oh, that you know something. There's something very personal, very private between you and cheesy. That you know exactly what this is. Very personal, very private between you and cheesy. And listen with your heart, and you shall receive. Now, normally, I'm going to go, if you don't mind, I'm going to step away for 2 seconds. So don't go anywhere, guys. I'm going to grab my card deck, because normally I don't do this. Is in private readings. So when we have a private reading on Zoom, lasts about a half hour, 45 minutes. I'm not really a clock watcher. Sometimes it goes longer than that. We do a private reading, but part of that reading is using oracle cards to deliver messages from your animal companions beyond what I may know. So I'm going to do that right now for Cheesy, because I got such little information from Cheesy. Normally, there are many cats in particular who can't wait to share everything. They want to tell you everything. But in Cheesy's case, this word efficient and ethereal, those are the two things that kept coming up. So hang on 2 seconds while I go grab my card deck. Hideous Sales is here. Oh, good. All right. So yay, awesome. All right, hang on a second here. I'm going to go get my card deck. 2 seconds. I'm still here. Don't go anywhere. This is part of the fun of live YouTube. All right, here I come. Ollie the dog is looking at me like I'm goofy. Okay, here we go. So this is the deck that I've been using. These are oracle cards, and for those of you who are not familiar with oracle cards, they're just like it's a beautiful way to receive a message from your higher self, from your own intuition. When you have difficulty trusting your higher self, your inner self, your inner knowing always has the solution, always knows what to do, always knows the next step, but we don't trust ourselves. And we do. There's a lot of different ways to begin trusting your intuition, but one of the ways is with oracle cards. And they're designed to be, so like here, I'll just show you this one. They have like a little picture on them and a little saying, and then I have a little book that will give me more information. But what I do in this case is ask for something specific. So for Lauren, Hideous Sales, what I would do is I'm just shuffling this deck, and I'm going to ask you to do something while you're here on this. I'm just going to visualize. I want you to see these cards, and I want you to visualize that. Love looking at oracle cards, right? Oh, all right. We'll come back to those questions in a minute. We'll talk more about oracle cards. I could do a whole thing on oracle cards too. I want you to visualize that this is the deck of cards, and with your intuition and my intuition coming together, we are going to select a card. So I'm just going to visualize that you are the one selecting this card. And what we're going to do with this card is this is going to be a message from Cheesy for you. And I'll tell you what that is in just a second. Now I'm going to set this down. And let's see what it is. It's the Druid, and it says, hold the space. So I'll just show you that card real quick. And then I'm going to go into my little book here and look up Druid. And this particular book isn't aligned as intuitively as other books, so I have to flip through till I find Druid. But then I'll explain why I like certain decks. Okay, Druid. The Druid is hold the space, hold things together. Don't make any sudden moves or changes. Stand strong. Know that where you are is where you are supposed to be. The Druids have a deep connection to Earth, the Sun, and the Moon. They are scholars, and they are known for creative skills, storytelling, poetry, craftsmanship. When you receive a reading with this card, you're being guided to dig deep within and to hold your station. If you're wondering what to do next or have a sense of anxiety about what is unfolding in your life, know that you should be in a state of trust. Relax. Don't change your plans. Don't do anything drastic. Trust in the process. Let everything unfold as it should. Think of a tree. It has strong roots, yet it continues to grow and bear fruit. Your life will be a reflection of this. So that is a message. If Sharon, you're so funny. If Lauren, if you can even just put that means so much, or it means nothing, because when we recognize, if we receive a message that doesn't mean something right at the moment, it may bear fruit in the next week or two. I call them Easter eggs. When we receive messages that may not immediately be obvious, they become obvious in the long run. So that's the other thing that I wanted to share with you about Cheesy, the last little piece about Cheesy, and then I'll tell you a little bit more about Oracle cards, and then we do have to wrap it up, and I know an hour is not long enough. So who knows, maybe these continue a little bit longer than an hour, because I'm not tied to the hour time frame by any stretch of the imagination. I study. I am really invested personally in all of my spiritual studies and this spirituality practice, metaphysics, my personal growth, my personal spiritual awakening and evolution. And I want readings like this to become even more accurate. And if accurate's not the right word, I want to be able to have even deeper, more meaningful connections with animals on the other side, and now people as well. And even though the people part makes me a little bit nervous, more and more of people here in the physical are asking me to make connections on their behalf with relatives on the other side. So I'm studying that, I'm practicing it. And I have joined a group. There's a group of people who meet here in the greater Denver area. We practice together. We work on this together because we want to. There's more than me. Many of you I know in this group are feeling this pull to tap into these abilities that we've learned since childhood we're not supposed to, but we have this gift, and I intend to grow this gift. So the point of the story is that I was in one of these meetings on Friday, and there was, for me, because I practice with animals, I saw an orange tabby. There was an orange tabby, like spiritually, energetically in the space with me. And as we're doing these different stories that like helping each other understand what to do, how to ask questions, this orange tabby left the room, like didn't want to be part of it. And I just had a sense it was Cheesy. Cheesy was just there to show me that Cheesy was there and that we had made contact, but that was as much as Cheesy was willing to share. So very, very private, Lauren, very, very private. So you can let me know if any of the information that Cheesy had to say, even if you want to send me an email after, which often many of you do, you can send me an email after and we can always explore things a little bit further, ask additional questions or see if there's additional information that we can get. So just super quick, if these meetings start to go longer than an hour, we can do that. I'm happy to talk about anything. For those of you who are channel members, for whether you're a new channel member or you've been here for since I first opened the memberships, which was only just a few weeks ago, you can let me know if there's a topic that you would like covered, and your topics will always come first. And I think somebody had asked about animal chakras, which we can talk about. I wouldn't do a whole session on it because it doesn't relate to everybody, but I would absolutely include that in one of the live streams. But I'm happy to talk about whatever you guys want to explore. So reach out and let me know. You can put it in the comments. Can we telepathically communicate with a long departed pet who may be in physical form somewhere else now. Oh, Miriam, you asked the best questions. Elaine, have you used pendulums to get answers? Yes. Maybe next week. That's a fun topic. Pendulums and oracle cards to receive messages and how you can use tools to receive messages from animals on the other side. That's going to be our topic for next week. Because yes, and I can show you how I use the oracle cards, how I use pendulums, how there's a different variety of things that I use to get messages from animals on the other side. So we can talk about that. Telepathically communicate with long departed pets. Reincarnation is a really it's not that it's a complicated topic. It's that there's a whole. We think of reincarnation the way that Hollywood has taught us to think of reincarnation, and there are some religious practices which teach us that there's no such thing as reincarnation, and then there are other practices that totally believe in reincarnation. So just because you were raised in one tradition, does that mean you can't reincarnate because your tradition didn't believe in it? No. And yes, we can. We can receive communication because not just animals, but I'm going to focus on animals. When animals cross to the other side, they become multidimensional beings. We are multidimensional beings. There's really only a small part of our soul that resides in this physical body. Most of us resides out there, and you can communicate with animals who are past 10, 15 years ago. You can communicate with animals who are still in the future. You can communicate with your animal on the other side right now. On the other side, time is different. It's not that it doesn't exist. It's just different. I've kind of explained this before. I have none of my because I'm not at my office space. I've none of my little tools here with me, but it's like folded in on itself. And where you choose to go in that fold is how you can get information from animals all over the place. So we can talk more about that too. So again, long answer to a short question. Yes, you can communicate with an animal companion at any point in time, even if you think that they have reincarnated in a different form here at the earth right now. You can connect with their past self. Yes, you can. Dust off your pendulums. Oh yeah, if you guys have pendulums, any of you who like to go down the spiritual rabbit hole, you can bring your pendulums next week. And for those of you who don't know anything about it, for those of you who think it's something witchy, I got called a witch this week. I took it as a compliment. It's so silly because people think of these practices as witchcraft. And I mean, there is such a thing as witchcraft, but also a topic that we could talk for hours about. So we will talk about oracle cards and other tools next week and that we can use, because it's a way when we can't trust our own thoughts, when we think, oh my gosh, I've just made that up. This is one of the ways that you can get more trust the information that you're receiving. So how do you pick an oracle deck? I will share with you next week how I pick oracle decks. But usually they will sing to you. An oracle deck will call to you. Like, you guys can see why this called to me. There's what I would visualize as a Native American woman with feathers and holding a deer, and the owl and the crow and the leopard, and this is me. This is me. I saw this and I see me. That's how cards speak to you. So when you see a deck that speaks to you, then you get it, and that's where you get your information from. But then once you get one, you end up with dozens. It becomes a habit. And there's no such thing as a best deck. You go with the deck that calls to you. And let's have a session about pendulums. All right, that's going to be next week. Next week it'll be tools. That's a small part of the soul. That's all that resides here. Higher self is out there. Okay. All right, you guys, I think that wraps it up for this evening. And if there's any other topics you want, I always love when a topic like presents itself, because when I really feel drawn to it, then I know it's the right thing to do. Okay, my friends, have a beautiful night. Thanks for hanging out with me for an hour and 15 minutes. Love all you guys, and I will see you all next week. Okay, everybody, take care. Bye-bye. Good night. Oh, I can't see won't let me turn it off. There we go. Bye-bye. May animals light your way.